Anyone can go to their local zoo and see exotic animals from all around the world. But is it a good idea for people to bring these wild, sometimes dangerous animals into their homes? At the Animal Welfare League, Darla McHammond sees the occasional exotic pet come through the front door.
We are all about the welfare of the animals that come here. And so we're not just a rescue group that may take the cream of the crop and go try to find a home for that one special pet. We have an open door policy, and so we're concerned about the welfare of all the animals that come through our door. We do get unusual animals in here. We have had iguanas in here, which most people would consider a little exotic. We had a groundhog in here the other day. I took it to a wildlife rehabilitation person, met up with her and took it to her for, it was a little bit injured. We get rabbits, we get just all kinds of things. And within the dog and cat category, we get some unusual breeds sometimes.
"20 miles south of the shelter, students at Manchester College share their thoughts on owning an exotic pet.
It'd be interesting to kind of own an exotic pet, mainly as a conversation starter. I mean, it'd be kind of dangerous, but I mean, it might be kind of cool.
Well, I guess what I always thought was cool would be a penguin. I mean, not really tigers. I feel like a penguin would be less upkeep than a tiger or a monkey would be, because the penguins are going to kind of stay in a little confined area more or less than what a bigger animal would.
If I could, yeah, I'd own a huge monkey if I could. If I had the money, or if I could just I did, definitely, yeah.
I'm really fascinated by elephants. I would never own one and take an elephant out of its natural habitat.
Well, I think mainly of people owning animals that aren't traditional pets, and specifically animals that are probably dangerous or shouldn't be kept in captivity, like large cats or birds or things like that.
"40 miles northeast of campus, Jordan and Mark explained what it takes to care for the animals at the Fort Wayne Children's Zoo.
I actually just talked to somebody today that's in charge of ordering all our water chemicals for just the sea lions, alligators, otters, and penguins. She's spent so far this year $22,000. And that's just chemicals for upkeep of the water. That's not including food for the animals or anything.
You know, we have 50 people taking care of a collection of 1,500 animals here. Payroll is our largest expense. The payroll to take care of the animals themselves. And then you got all the exhibits that you have to build, and we want to use state-of-the-art industry standards, so those are expensive. Our feed budget, I don't know exactly what it is. The vet is in charge of that department, but it's what, $500,000 a year to feed the number of animals that I said. You take a male lion's going to eat 9-10 pounds of meat a day at what? I mean, what is the meat? $3.50 a pound, something like that. So you're looking at a couple $100 a week to feed a lion.
We're here on every holiday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, somebody's always here. And even 24 hours a day, there's a night watchman that does rounds during the night to make sure everything's okay.
There's a huge group that have exotic animals. I mean, there's more tigers in the private sector, I'm not even counting zoos, than there are in the wild. There are certainly very qualified people out there that breed species that are private. They're not part of the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, and they do a fantastic job. A lot of those are partners of the extension of zoo collections. For example, you take Amur leopards, there's only 30 left in the wild, and maybe 100 or so in zoos. The best genetic ones belong to a private individual who's very concerned about the salvation of this species. But Mr. Smith that has a pet tiger, that he brings into his house with his small kids, it's totally unacceptable. It should not be allowed. Same thing with primates. Primates make totally unacceptable pets. Even to have a exotic pet in the state of Indiana, you got to have an exotic pet permit. We have actually been involved in confiscations. I personally have been involved in drug house raids where the people actually also had exotic animals like lions or tigers, and helped in law enforcement to immobilize those animals, and then we would hold them temporarily until they can go. We don't have space for a lot of them, but we can do something temporarily for a week or so. We have been involved in those type of situations, and a lot of zoos do that. I literally probably average 10 phone calls a week for somebody that wants to take their ex-pet that no longer can they take care of it, or they don't want it. And you know, I think it's important for people to really think about before you buy this little 18-inch python. Okay, you know, are you being warned that in 5 years that thing's going to be 15 feet long, and then the minute it hits 8 feet, it's unsafe to handle that snake with one person if you don't have two people around? I mean, I can tell you horror stories of large pythons getting out of their cages and killing little kids.
Back at Manchester, students discuss the real-life implications of actually owning an exotic animal.
I want to know all the information I can about it, but like, you know, when it comes to the expenses, I know I'm going to have the money later on because, you know, college here, I should hopefully one day have a good solid career, enough money, and then, you know, if I wanted to like actually own a monkey, I probably could.
You just want the animal because it's cool or it sounds fun, and then you actually get into it, and it turns out that you actually got a lot more than you bargained for.
I wouldn't raise an elephant because it's taking these wild animals out of their natural habitats, and they don't have any freedom or movement to roam and be animal-like, because they're not domesticated pets, and I don't think they should be.
It sounds cool at first, but then like you start thinking about it more and everything that's going to go into it, it just seems like way too much work. I mean, I'd rather have a dog.